Welcome back. So time now to explore the creative space, and this has a unique slant to it, as we've told you earlier. It's about visual art and female representation. And joining us on this particular segment is Mariam Maigida. She's the president of Female Artists in Nigeria, and she's looking beautiful in her unique attire from our Abuja studio. Hello, Mariam. It's good to see you.
Hello, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Good morning. So it seems unexplored territory. We know that there are artists, visual artists, and artists in many different genres of the art world, but you're advocating female representation in visual artistry. It seems unexplored territory as far as art is concerned. Tell us about your work in that regard.
Okay. First of all, being a female in a male-dominated craft, it's a privilege, and I've tried so hard to show women and girls, especially from northern Nigeria, that they can break this barrier and they can pursue whatever talent they have, even if it's not in the art and craft industry. So most of my works are near naturalism. Some are cityscapes and some are just abstract. But recently I developed a style of incorporating the Ajami manuscript, which was once used in the northern Nigeria before colonialism for writing poems and books. So I incorporate it in my style because I am advocating for Almajiri reformation, the Almajiri learning reformation, because I feel most of the difficulty they have is understanding English. And if these kids will be taught using their native language, which is using the Hausa and the Ajami manuscript, it will be easier for them and it will reform the educational system in the north, and we'll have lesser out-of-school children. Apart from that, I use culturally inclined fabrics to represent culture, because I'm all about preservation. I majored in art history, so I love the fact that we have to preserve our culture and tradition. So I use culturally inclined fabrics. I incorporate them and make like elongated earrings to symbolize beauty of the African woman, and ornamentation of the African woman. At the same time, show how the African woman is resilient, how she can carry these heavy burdens and still function fully as a mother, as a daughter, as a director, or whatever position she's in. Mostly, I love to advocate for northern Nigeria because it's a part of Nigeria where art is really not valued. So I try as much as possible to depict the Durbar Festival, our culture, and also talk about history and teach the society all about our history, apart from the preservation. I mentioned about the Ajami. I also go way back, history, the Sokoto Caliphate. I like to express the importance of Usman Danfodio, his daughter. They really advocated for education for women and the expansion of the Hausa states. Also, there's a history of Jangwarzo, who was like a godfather to Usman Danfodio. A lot of that, all about preserving history, communicating what's best for the society, advocating for women.
All right, Mariam, I'm looking at your work, your illustrations, and they are quite beautiful. But I noticed something. You like brilliant and bright colors. Is there a reason for that? And we're going to speak to some of those pictures, or sorry, your paintings that you've done, or the drawings that you've done. But I noticed you like bright colors. Is there a reason for that, and why?
Yes, because it represents my personality. I'm a really bright, open person. I'm highly optimistic and I'm positive. So representing these colors are like my inner self and wanting positivity in the society. Most times I use bright yellow, I use pink a lot, I use purple, I use a lot of blue, and also I do paintings of cityscapes. I represent Keke Napeps, and in those landscapes, I make sure those colors are really bright and pastel, which is trying to depict how I want a positive society for the low privileged people in the society, which is why I use the keke napep, because most people that use the keke napep and those that drive it are like really less privileged people. So the bright colors indicate how I want a better society for them, better economy, better road, good schools, good hospitals for these people.
You know, your work is really interesting, and you're the second or third artist from the North who is using their arts to document a northern culture. The other lady we spoke with a few weeks earlier is also documenting how it's a form of makeup, fabric production. And it appears as if there's increasingly, or there's decreasing low interest as far as the preservation of ancient cultural practices are concerned. Are you worried that we're losing the museum culture? And how best, can what you're doing be preserved for, generations to come, such that they see, how, their ancestors lived their lives?
Okay. Yes, of course, I'm really worried. First of all, it started from westernization. After the colonialism, we were really, Nigerians and Africans were really invested in their art and craft. But after westernization, we're tilted towards doing more of Western. Okay, in the art world, for instance, we did a lot of sculptures, bronze works. But after westernization, these works were perceived as like fetish, idolism, and then so we left it apart, and then we incorporated more of the Western part of the art. And then these artifacts, these are works that we neglected, are what's sitting currently in different museums around the world. So what we need to preserve is our language, our dressing, even our tribal marks are as important. They are part of our art. Our traditional architectural buildings, like I'm going to use example of the Igbo huts. There are these motifs we found on the buildings, which are called Uliism. These symbols, these are signs and symbols that have meanings from our African ancestors. Some of them are symbols of traditional medicine. Some of them, like the lizard, is like agent of surveillance. There are 2 lines or 3 lines that symbolizes family and farming. I think these are things that gives us value. These are things that people from out of the world want to see, not adapting to the Western culture. Like, we have to retain our originality. That's what makes us unique from our dressing, the agbada, the dorba, horsemanship, those beautiful, colorful attires we wear, from adorning the horses, and also the yam festivals. There are so many things that are really beautiful. And the more we advance them, the more we have people have interest, and the more it gains more value. And the more it has value, the more our economic, it yields a financial benefit to it. For instance, I'm using my art, I'm selling my Dober paintings, I'm selling my works that have to do with signs and motifs, and they are selling well. Imagine if there are other artists, they are mining out of these African treasures. It will be a great boost for our economy as well.
Seeing you speak, and then right next to you, your art is, being previewed. It's just really beautiful. Almost like this segment is some sort of art exhibition. You as a person, and then your work as well. And I'm really interested in your process, right? For some people, they have to lock themselves up just to get the idea. Some, they thrive in chaos. For some people, it is music. So, different people have their different ways of creating. What is your own process like? How does it start? And when is that point you know that, hey, I'm onto something big?
Okay, so my process starts early morning, very early in the morning. That's when my brain is usually really fresh. And I go to my canvas and I just start sketching. That's one of my process. Maybe when I'm doing an abstract. Then secondly, I might want to talk about something in the society, communicate an event, or try to provide a solution towards a problem. Then it will have me thinking about, okay, what should I use? Should I use figure? Should I use landscape? What's the best medium for me to use to communicate this? Then secondly is research. I have to do a lot of reading and learning. For instance, I had to read about most of the Hausa kingdoms, the Gobir, till the emergence of the Sokoto Caliphate. I had to read about most of the emirs. I have to read about most of poems of Nana Asma Odomfodio in order to paint a particular painting that has to do with education and empowering women in the North. So after that research, then the process of the painting continues. But then you can get stuck along the way, and getting back might be difficult. But I don't use music. I hardly use music. Silence is better for me. I don't like hearing any sound, because I feel if I'm get used to using music or any other thing, then it will be addictive. So it's just really cool.
You know what, Mariam?
Really silent background. And then early in the morning, there are these bird sounds, just cool, calm nature. I love it. It makes my brain just open and just...
Your silence is indeed very colorful and has very compelling outcomes. So maintain that silence.
Thank you for giving the birds credit. They don't get a lot of credit.
Thank you.
We've been talking with Mariam Maigida, president of Female Artists in Nigeria and a very creative visual artist. Thank you so much for your time, Mariam.
Thank you.